And we're live for part 2 of I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Well, we tried Google our Wirecast, that didn't work. So fudge it. All right. It's out. Oh, BS this time. All right. Finishing out that tweet. If I spelled everything right. Hopefully. Larry's super small. Hey, look, we're on Hangouts, okay? Hangouts is what Hangouts is. Okay, I ain't touching nothing. Larry's super small.
It's reality. I'm only 5'2".
That ain't right.
Wouldn't Mike be the one that's 5'2"?
No, that's true.
I wish I was 5'2". All right. It looks like I got everything right. All except the fact that you can't change a thumbnail on Google Hangouts when you send it out. But hey.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Gotta love it. So stop that. See, the reality of it is, Larry, there was a guy I used to hang out with at school that was just like you. So this is my revenge.
There's no way you would have hung out with a guy like me at school. That mean you were just following him around, is what you meant.
Yeah. Isn't that what it's called?
I think nowadays they call it stalking. Back then, I don't think they had a name yet.
Well, no. See, I was older, so I had the car, so that's why he hung out with me.
Ah. So you're saying you drove a young dude around in your van with no windows?
The white with the white van with the free candy on the
Free
side.
candy spray painted on the side?
Yeah. It was the who was that we talk? Oh wait, I'm not gonna say it. All right. I think we should get the show on the road here.
Cool. I like that. That's a good idea.
Fuck it. Matt doesn't have to deal with the technical issues.
Yeah.
Or everything is on a flat playing surface. So everything is lined up where it needs to be. We're good to go. So all right. I do just want to check one thing here. Make sure I have the right. All right, we're on episode 14. Technology Sucks Part 2. All right. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to the OG podcast. How is everyone doing today? We're on episode 14, and we got a special guest tonight. But before I introduce him, I'd like to introduce my wonderful co-host. Apparently, he's the number one host, followed by me, Mr. Larry Dickerson.
You're a strong number 2.
Strong number 2. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. Happy 34th birthday. That was
Yeah, 34 years old, like 10 years ago. So
yeah. So wait. 2 carry the 4. You're 52?
52.
Oh, See that quick
He was
math?
young.
It was quick math. Quick. So, but for those of you watching, we ditched the Wirecast because it's just not working. We even tried to do the way through Google Hangouts and Skype with our guest that we have, and finally it was just like, forget this. Let's just go on Google Hangouts. So that's what we're doing. Finally, it's somewhat good. I can still push down Larry. I don't know what the people in the room are talking about, but whatever. So let's just get right into it. We have a very special guest tonight. He is the originator of all things desk setups on YouTube. He's the first one to do them ever. No one ever did them before. And everyone did them after. No. That's debatable whether he was the first one. And he'll tell you that, not me. I'm not trying to be a dick. But we have Mr. Matt Philie, a.k.a. Swashin' TV, a.k.a. Pimp My Setup host. So welcome, Matt.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. This is great.
I mean, we were talking the other day, and you were mentioning the fact that you were gonna finally bring back Pimp My Setup on a whole new way, and we'll get into that in a moment. But you've done 2 seasons, 2 long seasons so far.
Yeah.
And the first season was you had a permanent co-host.
Yep.
And that stopped after the first season, and you went on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were doing like special guest hosts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You kind of revamped in the middle of it, but and I'm pretty sure you've talked about this a bunch of times already. But how did you get started with the concept of just Pimp My Setup and all that good stuff? Like,
well, it was back in 2013 where I was doing Swashin' TV, and that was just a show in itself. So basically it was kind of like this. I had I think it was 3 other guys. We all would come together every Thursday night, kind of chat and whatever, and then everyone had their issues. And one of those guys was actually Tech Johnson, Steve. So
okay.
I've been friends with him for a very long time, and we all kind of clashed every so often. And it got to the point where I was like, all right, I don't want to do this show anymore. And that's when I was trying to think of a new show. And I was kind of into like the whole having as many monitors and taking my dad's old computers didn't work and make it look like I had like this amazing, expensive setup. And I was like, you know what? Why not just do like a show where I'm literally like reviewing people's setups? And then I was just talking it out, and I was like, pimp my ride, pimp my setup. And it all kind of, went downhill from there. So yeah, I mean, that started the first episode was in August of 2013, and we did 157 episodes until the end of that episode when my co-host just quit live on air. And he was the grown adult. So, I mean, whatever, but that ended, and whatever. And then I did 280 episodes for season 2. And surprisingly, I'm coming back for season 3. Why? I don't know. Why do I like to torture myself? So that's what we're doing. So yeah.
Wow. So what's the changes for season 3? What are you doing different? Because I know that you were like, you got to the point where you were like, I'm fucking bored.
Based on season 1 and 2, there's going to be 452 episodes in season 3. So that's going to be super busy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, season 3, I think the main issue, something that a lot of people love, but I think what's basically driving me crazy is doing it live. And, it's great. It adds a whole nother, angle, I guess. People can interact live, give feedback and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like the episodes are long. They're super, super long. There were times where I did like an hour-long episode because I had a guest, and, we just back and forth, you run up the clock and whatever. But now I'm going to change it to where it's not live. It's completely pre-recorded, and it's only going to be 10 to 15 minutes a pop. So, 1 episode a week, hopefully maybe more down the road. But yeah, so I'm going to have a special guest every week, except for probably the first episode because my guest got sick. So figuring that out. But yeah, it's just going to be different in the sense that I'm going to kind of cut out all the fluff. And I'm going to try not to hurt people's feelings, because that was the biggest complaint, is I was very mean to people. And I was like, always roasting. And that's why the other setup YouTubers were the best because they were so delicate with everyone's feelings. But you know what? Get over it. So yeah.
Really, that was the biggest complaint.
I mean, people said I was mean, but then I had setup nightmares where I could kind of take it to the next level and be a little more, in their face. But I can't do that.
If you send in your picture to be evaluated, it can go either way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. But the problem is they'd be like 8 years old, and I'd be like, do I treat them the same? Do I switch it up? And then I'd like say something that make people be like, wow. I'm like, everyone's on the same, everyone's the same.
Yeah.
So.
Right. But I mean, it got to the point sometimes where I think that they sent it in on purpose.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, there was some really nasty ones you got in. I mean, that were just flat out, blatantly, this is garbage type of deal. But
oh yeah, leaving out dinner plates and stuff like that. But that's also on me for accepting them. But you know what? The whole idea is that we're not here to showcase the best of the best. We're looking at setups that need to be improved, and that's the whole name of the game. So we'll give you a score, and most of the time the score was not great, and it was kind of fun. Yeah, I mean, you've been on it a few times. Well,
they hated me, and that's not surprising.
You were probably one of the most hated guests. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you.
He's universally hated, so it doesn't matter where he goes.
Hey, you know what? Truth hurts. Okay, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Well, I think the second time you went like 10 times harder than you did in the first episode, which made no sense because the first episode people were like, wow, this guy's kind of a dick. He should like tone it down. And then he comes on again. He's like, I'm going to go even harder this time.
That sounds like Mike.
Yeah.
If I ever get invited back on.
You will. You already know you will.
Well, man, I mean, what you're saying though is it would be super boring to watch a show that like everything's a 10. You know what I mean? Like every setup's awesome. Every setup, like it would get very boring after 1 or 2 episodes of just seeing perfect setups. Yeah. I think having the crappier setups sort of makes it. It's like, American Idol, you don't want to see every good singer. They always throw in that crappy dude just to get you laughing, just to get, to break up the monotony of just a bunch of great singers. Like there's no fun in that.
Yeah.
But I said the setup was crap.
Yeah. Well, what I think is good is that we get to see these like okay setups, and then they make the changes, and now all of a sudden they're at the top, and it gets boring. Like it's nice to see great setups for inspiration, but it doesn't have to be the best setup to inspire you or whatever. So yeah,
right. So I mean, and you do talk about those other channels that put a formula together, and were inspired, and I'll hold no punches for those people because I really don't like them, and they know that I don't like them, and they don't like me. So
yeah.
Oh well, and I guess I have to give credit where credit is due because they took your idea and they molded it to where that they worked towards what everyone wanted and just did what they wanted and nothing like they did. And I don't personally, I don't know. I mean, how that's like going to a job that you don't like every day, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Doing it the same way. But I guess when you start making a shit ton of money and you can go out and buy Lambos and new houses, I guess, you got to play the game. But I just don't know how exciting that is or how long that'll last. It might last a little bit longer, but at the same time, you have to sit back and say, okay, now what do I need to change?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I'll say is to the other people that have done it, a lot of them have done a great job. I mean, they all have just completely walked over me, and look at where they are now. And that's great. Seeing a channel with a lot of subscribers doing something that I do is good because it's like, hey, I have that ability. But the difference is, they show the best of the best, like we were just talking about. It's a very slideshow format. And that's fine. People like to digest content in different ways. Some people don't have 40 minutes. And that's why I'm kind of changing things up a bit. I'm going to refresh it and hopefully grow. I mean, just the first 2 videos I did in 2018 did really well. So I'm finally seeing, my channel was stuck for the longest time at 175. And now we're about to hit 180. So the goal is just to keep chugging along, make this new content. And, I have other things in the works right now that I've been talking to companies and talking to different people. And hopefully I'll be able to take some of my other ideas, because I have like 50 million different shows that are on my channel, and I can't stay up to date with any of them. So yeah, I'm just kind of figuring things out. But I mean, you gotta refresh it, and yeah, other people out there are doing a better job. They're bigger, and congratulations, and screw you at the same time. But it is what it is. What are you gonna do?
No, I mean, I understand. That's what everyone did on YouTube. I mean, Larry and I are used to it from seeing it in the tech realm.
Yeah. Oh God.
One person does it, next thing you know, you see every other guy doing that and incorporating it, and now everybody's got these wonderful, beautiful shots of products and slider shots and these expensive cameras, and at the end of the day, like you said, everything's perfect. Nothing is raw, nothing has any emotion to it, and nothing really gives any content to the video.
Yeah.
But that's apparently what people want. And I could do that, Larry could do it, and you could, but what's the fun in that if it's not different?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, you guys know, like, rushing to get an iPhone 10 review done to be the first one, is that really worth it? Like, sure, you'll get views, but at the end of the day, are you really making a good video? Are you going to get subscribers from it? Are you going to have a long retention on the video? Like, these are things people don't think about, and they think if they just get some nice blurred shots and close-ups and the first time, it's like, oh my God, it's this. Everyone's going to upload the same damn video. Try to make yours different. Try to be creative, and no, people just do the same thing. They steal the logos, the intros. They do the same cartoon faces for their profile picture. It's like, geez, can you be any more
with no freaking face on it?
Yeah, and it's like, it's fine if you have your own little like version or twist of it, but to have literally like MKBHD's profile picture, you're wearing the same damn sweatshirt. It's like, what are you doing with yourself? It's painful, really.
And you know what I mean? And there are guys that are mildly successful doing that.
Yeah.
And there are some guys that are just flat out that talented to be able to create that content. And not that there's, not that they wouldn't have eventually got there somehow, but there are some guys out there that first started out. And the first one I'm gonna mention is Ash. Do you know Ash? Is it Ash Taylor? Is that Ash's last name? I mean, when he first came out, it was, very, very cinematic, and you were like, okay, he's inspired clearly by the guys that do this. But then all of a sudden, like, he got a little bit of feedback from people and being noticed. Then all of a sudden, he just went like to a whole nother level.
Oh yeah.
And just stepped into it and was like, okay, I'm going up here. And it was nice talking to you back there. It was great. Have a good one. But I'm going to go here, and he has a style, and I haven't seen him in a little bit, and I'm sure he's completely revamping something somehow, some way. But he's someone that when he first started out, it was like, okay, this is interesting. He's got the quality. It's very movie-like. And then out of the blue, I mean, and I'm sure he's been working at it, obviously, but it just took off.
Well, he's actually working, like, I don't know how you would want, in the private sector of filmmaking.
Yeah.
Away from YouTube, actually trying to get that going, and I think he's got some good things coming. But yeah, I heard something today. It was actually a documentary I'm watching, a series on Netflix, but it's chefs. But they were talking about, like, when you start off as a chef, which I think pretty much goes for anything creative. You start off by mimicking your favorite chefs, your favorite YouTubers, your favorite whatever. And then you should reach a point where you figure it out for yourself, and then you pivot and sort of make something new or make it your own, and then you go in that direction. So there should be at some point where, you're copying, you're doing something, and then you just go off and then you figure it out on your own and you're doing your own thing. And like you were saying about, I don't know who the hell you were talking about with the other setup. I'm sure I do. It's just not popping into my head, and I really don't care that much to try to figure it out. But that person figured out what they wanted to do and were successful at it and just stuck with it.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But like you said, to me personally, I wouldn't want to do that. Like, my wife's always joking about how I should make YouTube videos just opening toys for kids. And I'm like, yeah, even if I made millions of dollars doing that, I would want to hang myself every single night because I'm the dude opening eggs with just all you see is my hands and me going and like no, it's just not for me. I want to do something that I enjoy, especially someone like myself who doesn't do this as a full-time job. It's a hobby for me, and I don't want my hobby to be
Opening
a job. I don't want to, dread doing it or not enjoy doing it. And maybe these people enjoy mimicking everybody else and being successful. But to me, if you're a well-rounded human being, you wouldn't want to live in that world.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's clearly, being influenced by the idea that I'm going to get more views, I'm going to get more subscribers, I'm going to make more money.
That's all everyone cares about.
Yeah.
Right. But and there is no heart in it. So at the end of the day, it's only going to last so long.
Yeah.
Right.
And like I said, until you make it your own, whether you want to admit that to yourself or not.
And that being said, there is, I mean, we've said this a billion times. There's no original idea anymore.
Yeah. It's
humans been around, technology's been around. Like there's nothing new. It's just really what I always, I don't know when I was talking to Lou about it, but like Lou Unbox Therapy, it's because of Lou is why that channel's successful. It's not him unboxing crap or whatever. It's his personality. It's him shining through on a channel. Look at his, like he has a pimp ass setup, but literally it's always been just him sitting in front of a camera and just him and the product. Because even if the product sucks, Lou shines through all that stuff. So there's been guys that have the same exact setup as Lou, like literally the same thing. And they'll look over here and talk off camera to some other dude and try to do the same thing, but they're just not Lou, so it's not going to be successful. So I think your personality has to come through, and you have to be able to connect with an audience for it to ever really grow.
Exactly.
Sustain growth.
Right. And somebody makes a good point in the room. I feel like kid YouTubers are overestimating how far they're going to get. I know that I'll probably stop doing this after high school because I won't make any money, but I do it because it's a hobby. I enjoy it. And, that's key right there, because again, this is something that Larry and I have talked about before on the podcast and offline. There are people out there that talk about, being inspirational for other people to create content, and any kind of content, and it could be a sports star, anything, that people talk about, oh, they're my inspiration. They're my inspiration. I want to do what they do. And when those people start talking about being inspirational, they talk about doing what you want to do. Don't let anybody tell you to no, and stick with it and F everyone. And it's like, okay, stop. That's great. But you need to take, I would say, anywhere from 20 to 30% of that advice and, take it, and then take the rest with a grain of salt. Because at some point you're going to have to realize, I've got bills to pay. I'm going to need some form of job to bring in some form of money to pay those bills. And no, I can't tell everybody to fuck off, because those are the people that are paying me right now. And you kind of have to play the game a little bit. So, I always get a little nervous when I hear people talking about, how inspirational someone is, and I want to be just like them. And they tell you to follow your dreams and never give up on your dreams, and you're going to make it. Well, that's just not true.
Well, I mean, I think that advice is okay for a younger person that's trying to figure themselves out. You have a buffer window, I think, at a certain age to where you should be chasing things. And then there's a point where you have to realize it. Like I was talking about American Idol before, but you see this like on like The Voice, like all these shows, and you'll see like a 50-year-old dude, and he's like, this is my last chance. Like, no, dude, your last chance was a long time ago. You just didn't realize it. It's like, yeah, I'm tired of my wife having to support. I'm like, dude, if I was your wife, I would have choked you out so long ago. He's got like long, thinning hair, and he's like, I'm just tired of the club scenes. And well, I'm like, dude, you chase your dreams till you're like 25, 26. And if your dreams ain't coming true, I'm sorry. Cash in your chips and get something else going on. I mean, I want my kids to do something in life that they're extremely passionate about and happy with and creative. Right. But I mean, at some point I'm going to look at them and be like, hey, knucklehead, you're done now. Like, I'm sorry. You can't be a puppeteer. I know that's what you wanted to do, but it ain't going to work now.
Well, I want to be a radio host.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I have no problem. Like you said, it's 20 to 30%. You should listen to that type of advice.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, you get to a certain point in your life, and if you're not successful chasing your dream, maybe you start putting on a different hat, and then keep that in your back pocket. You know, you can keep doing it without just putting all the eggs in one basket. And I know you'll hear about, you'll talk, it's a famous person or an actor or something, and they're like, well, what if this didn't work out? And they're like, I had no fallback plan. This was it. I was going to make it in music, or I was going to, it's like, well, okay. But, I mean, if you ever read, there's a great book called The Outliers, which shows just a bunch of statistics about how people like Steve Jobs happened to grow up in like the same neighborhood as the dude, like Hewlett Packard. And like, he would buy components from his garage sale. Like, there's a lot of things that got to fall together and be put together for very successful, famous people to be successful and famous. And unfortunately, that's a very small percentage of the human population. So, it's a fine line. You don't want to tell your kids not to, shut up and just go to school and, keep your nose in a book and do whatever. But there's got to be some reality that you weave into it, I think.
Yeah.
And Matt, that takes me to my next question. As far as yourself, when it comes to doing what you're doing, your family is getting ready to move, maybe this year at some point, maybe early next year, depending on what you were saying with your parents getting situated. Do you see yourself going down to potentially South Carolina, North Carolina?
North Carolina, yeah.
And setting up shop there and doing the same thing? Or are you looking as this is an opportunity to revamp everything?
Well, I mean, it's hard because here where I live now, it's New York, we're on Long Island. It's really, really expensive. And I can't move out and live on my own, even if I had really like a full-time job. That's just how expensive it is. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to move with them. My whole family's moving. And everything's a lot more affordable there. I could right now with the money I make, I can afford my own place and actually, grow up and figure things out on my own. So that's the game plan, is to do that. And then, kind of see where things go if I want to move to another state or something like that. But I'm just going to kind of keep things the way they are. And I do have my media company. So, real estate photography, I got my drone license, whatever. So I am going to do that, hopefully, because there are a lot of different real estate opportunities there now. It's a growing place. So I'm going to kind of do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and just see what happens, which is what I've really done for a long time, because like that guy in the chat, he said he's young. He probably is going to stop when he's, finished with high school. But let's be honest, I started when I was 12. I just turned 22. So, YouTube was different, and I had a lot of different interests, and literally I had like 30 channels. So that was fun. But you eventually get to the point where things click, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But I went to college, and I'm, I got my associates. I might go back, but we'll see. The idea is that I kept myself busy. I worked at Best Buy for almost 2 years. Like, as long as you're doing something while chasing the dream,
right,
you're good. You can't, like Larry was saying, you need to have a fallback. You need to be realistic. You can't just kind of like balls deep into something, hope it works out. It's not how it is. So I just think take everything with a grain of salt, but at the same time, just work towards it. If it's meant to be, it'll happen. But yeah, so that I know I kind of went back to the old topic there.
Well, let's just ask the question that's on everybody's mind. Are you taking the shed with you when you move? This is what the people want to know, Matt.
People have asked a lot, and I think we're gonna have to leave it, because that's I know, but here's the thing. It's gonna be a pretty penny.
Cut shows.
It's gonna be a pretty penny, and also, if I could do it over, I would do it over in so many different ways. I did a lot of the work myself. My dad helped me with little things, but I never even put like a panel up on a wall before. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. So there's a lot of things that are not perfect, and that's fine. So the next person who gets this, you just rip everything off. It's back to the beginning, and they'll enjoy it. They'll have a good time. It'll be fun.
Well, like you said, if you're maybe gonna get your own place after a while, once you're down there, I mean, you're gonna have a whole apartment or a whole house to really
and I'll mess that up as well. So
Well, hopefully the house is a little bit more of a better base than the shed. You might be able to, that might give you a better starting point.
Yeah, like my hands are frozen right now because if I turn the heater on, it's gonna be loud, and cars drive by. It's I work with it. It works. It's all good.
It's already off the rails. You might as well turn it on.
It's fine. It's all good. I'm good.
So at this point, you're pretty psyched. Move down there, actually get something that's not in your bedroom. That's your desk setup. That'll be pretty cool. But
yeah, all the comments like, "Oh, mommy and daddy still pay for everything." It's like, listen, I pay for my own stuff, but yeah, I live with my mom and dad, and yeah, they do, I guess rent free, but I pay for all my other stuff. Calm down.
Dude, if at your age, I would have been. I was out of my house at 15.
Oh,
if I had the opportunity to be at my house until I could do whatever, shit, take advantage of that.
For sure.
You're obviously not dreading being there and whatever. It's a good situation. So yeah, milk that as long as you can.
And that's why people don't get it. Like if I could move out, I would love to, because you get to experience things differently. You get to learn on your own. But at the same time, it's like, I can't afford it. I'd rather not go broke right now. I'll wait until I go broke in North Carolina. So
yeah. Well, like you said, cost of living, I mean,
it's awful.
It's going to be night and day.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Wow.
You good there, Mike? You just chatting it up?
No, I went over to Tomas's live stream.
Oh, okay.
He said he was going on at 11. I was like, I'll be there. I can't hear what he's saying, but I'm there. But no, that's cool. So along with the new season of Pimp My Setup, do you have anything else planned? Are you gonna do any kind of revamp of Setup Nightmares, or you have any other new big ideas, or is that gonna kind of be on the down low because people just copy?
Oh, well, I mean, nothing's on the down low because I really don't have anything figured out yet, but the idea in my head is to definitely bring back Setup Clinic, because I mean the first episode almost has 1 million views. The second episode has like 100 and some, I think almost 200,000 views. And then I just stopped. And each one was like a year apart. And the best thing is the comments saying they make Transformers movies quicker than I make Setup Clinic. So the goal is to, of course, bring that back. And, it's a difficult thing to do. But just kind of bring all the shows back that I already do and take them to the next level. Like I said before, I was talking to a company, and if that works out, then I have a pretty cool opportunity, but I've been there before and it always kind of collapses. So we'll see though.
When you've obviously you're at a level of subscribers that, affords you to be able to but talk to a company about setting up any kind of sponsorship and whatnot. When you started growing and getting bigger on YouTube, and it's funny because this is a question that Larry and I have, slated for pretty much everyone that we talk to that has, any kind of success on YouTube. When you were in YouTube doing it part-time, going to school, working, what level did you hit? At what point did you stop and go, you know what? This is going to be a full-time thing. I'm going to put everything into it, and this is what I want to do. When was that aha moment, or was it an aha moment? I'm doing this full time.
I think
Best Buy.
The problem is, I mean, when it all went down, I was a young kid, and kids are stupid and they do things they probably shouldn't. And I was already hating my job at Best Buy, and I was I think about 20,000 subscribers, and I was making money. I was almost making as much as I was working 30 hours a week at Best Buy as I was on YouTube, which to me, I was like, that's it. Come on, Dad, let me quit. I'm done. I'm good. And he's like, no, stick with it. You can, like, he was trying to explain to me, you can have both incomes and they combine together and you can still do what you're already doing. And I was just sick of it. And my managers were treating me like crap. So at the time I was like, I just got to get out of this job. And I was stupid in the sense that I told my dad, I'm like, hey, this is going on at work. Can I just quit right now? And he's like, really? You just want to quit? So I literally went back home that day. I left early and I talked to my dad. We looked it over. We looked at, because the majority of the money you make from YouTube, if you're going like full time, is from sponsorships. And I didn't have to make a lot of money to cover my car, insurance, phone, all that stuff. So I was looking at it, I'm like, looked at it, I've been consistent. I think I should just do it. And so it wasn't really like an aha moment. It was more like, my dad let me, and he wasn't going to like beat the crap out of me if I didn't. So I just went back into work. I literally went back in and I was like, yeah, I quit. But before I did that, I actually went to a different Best Buy and I used my employee discount one last time. I was buying cables, I was buying everything. And then I literally just went back to my store and I quit, and they weren't too happy about that. But then, I should have been smart. I should have, did like a 2-week, period before I quit. But that I guess you could say is my aha moment. And 2016, the year after I quit, was the best year I ever had on YouTube. I did great. Everything was awesome. And then 2017, it was, it wasn't good.
Do you, now you had to apply for partnership, right? When you were doing
YouTube. Mm-hmm.
And you got approved and everything. Do you remember how much you paid the first month?
Oh man, I didn't even hit 100 in the first month. I think it took me 2 months to get $100. So
wow, 2 whole months.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't even on Swashin. That was on Present Day Tech, my other YouTube channel, because of course that's how I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
A channel called Present Day Tech. I think that just slipped out. Have you told anybody that before?
Oh, everyone knows about it. You can look up Director Matt 21. Those are like 10-year-old videos over there.
Oh, those. Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny. Wow, cool. All right. Well, I know the one dude in the room said that he really liked your video doing your brother's setup.
Yeah.
I thought it was great, except that weird part at the end when he pretended like he didn't like it.
You didn't like that?
That was a little awkward.
It was funny in our head.
No, it was funny.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that video, for some reason, my channel went from like absolute crap, dead, done. And then YouTube, once I put that up, that was my second video, 2018. They're like, yeah, let's put this in recommended. I'm like, okay. So that video's been doing great. That's been getting me subs and everything. So
what was your take? I mean, you were obviously on a little bit of a hiatus.
Yeah.
With and I'll start with the newer issue of, just things getting demonetized and content being demonetized for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
You think if you're cursing too much, or you I don't know, something questionable, I don't know, zapping a dead rat or something, I don't know. Did you you weren't posting that much around that point, but what you were posting and putting up, did you see any backlash from that from your channel? Any older videos get hit with that you may have seen?
See,
demonetization?
It was weird because a lot of people were saying you don't get an email when your video gets demonetized, especially an older one. And I never checked to see, I still haven't checked if old videos were, but I did get an email when I uploaded my Elgato Stream Deck review, which was like one of the few videos I did during my break. And that video got demonetized like 2 hours into it. And I was like, what the hell? Like literally for the first time in forever, I had the most clean video ever. Didn't even say like crap. I literally was just like, being informative and whatever. And yeah, it just got demonetized and I was about to like punch a hole in the wall. And then all of a sudden it didn't. And of course that video got like no views anyway. I think when you get demonetized, your video just has no chance of doing well. So only one video. That's it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Larry and ours get demonetized all the time.
Really though? Like that's crazy.
And you know what the funny thing is? Mine gets demonetized and then maybe like an hour later it's not.
Yeah.
Green again. So it's like I'm not getting any views anyway. So I'm like, whatever. So the last one I just left. And I went back like 2 hours later and I'm like, oh, it's monetized again. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that happened to mine. And I'm like, I didn't even put in a request or anything like that. And it just went back to green. So I was like, whatever.
So, and did it ever get demonetized? You know what I mean? I did have some stuff get demonetized and I went over to an unlogged in channel, like, on my Safari, which wasn't logged in. And I pulled up the video and an ad came up. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess it's getting some ad support. I mean, because it says it may be restricted.
Yeah.
You may not get all the ads or everything on it, but it's it's weird, and
It's
I'll
demonetized, meaning you're not going to make any money, but they're still putting commercials on it.
Yeah, they're gonna make that money.
Yeah, exactly. It's
All-
like,
all
ooh,
5
like now look at ours.
yeah, of course they will, but if it I don't understand any of it. You try to get the information on it, and
Well, I
everything
mean,
is so
who cares though? Because at the end of the day, you're not going to make a lot of money from ad revenue,
no.
and that's especially true when it comes to when you go in your analytics, you look at monetized playbacks, and you're like, what? Like literally, like 10% of your views are actually monetized. It's great when people watch on mobile because they can't block that. But on desktop, everyone's got ad block, so it's like, who cares? And that's why any chance I get to do a sponsorship with a company that's good, I'm like, let's do it. Let's get it going. So, and Amazon affiliates and all that. People need to, and a lot of people say this, but you need to branch out. And you can't just rely on AdSense. And back in the day, AdSense was like, for a lot of creators, before I was even making money, everyone was like, yeah, you're making good money on AdSense. And then it died.
Yeah, I was too. And I was only doing it part time, maybe once or twice a week. And I was still pulling. When at the height, I was pulling in like $500-600 a month.
Damn.
I was putting out 1 or 2 videos a week, and that's it. And the payouts were so high at that point. It was just like, okay, this is a nice little side gig going on
Yeah.
here. But like you said, you talk to companies, and some of them are wise to the idea that you don't just go by the subs, and they look at the views and base it on that. There are some guys out there, in my opinion, that have oversold themselves, and that goes back to the adage of, hey, I guess you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And how you're doing it or what you're doing, if that works for you, that's not what I would do. And
Well,
there are guys out there that buy views for their videos that are sponsored, and it's clear that you can tell. And if that's your thing, that's your thing.
yeah.
I don't want that. That'll be the first person that complains when their channel gets shut down.
Oh, for sure. But you know what it is? It's just annoying to me that it's either one party. So it's the brand that doesn't understand how to price it. They don't understand how it works. They don't understand the views and the subs and all this stuff. And then you get the creators that also ruin it because they undercharge and they will go above and beyond for the company. And that's a problem. You shouldn't do that. Like, great, you made $100 on this video, but now I'm getting an email. Like, this just happened yesterday. They're like, your rates are too high. We just did a video with this person for $250. And I'm like, okay, I got to see this. They link it and everything. I go to the person's channel. They have like, I think the same subs as you, like 40 some odd thousand. And the video got like 4,000 views. And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, great. You gave him $250. I have almost 180,000. My last few videos did really well. Why are you thinking I'm $250 worth? And why is it my fault that he's, I mean, I guess he got a pretty good deal if he's not really getting views, but still, it's like, that's not fair. They're soiling, the pricing and stuff. And that's why talking to brands nowadays is like, it's painful. It's really bad. So.
Well, and I don't know if that's why guys, guarantee certain amounts of views.
Oh, that's the worst thing to do. You should not do that.
I know guys that do, and
Well, the only guys I know that do are the guys that pay for 20,000 views for every one of their videos, so they can say, "I guarantee you're going to get at least 20,000 views." If I was a company, I would be like, "How do you know? How are you going to guarantee? Because I can look at your channel and see that you don't consistently get 20,000 views."
Yeah,
it's a weird thing with companies. I don't think they do their due diligence like they should, but
they see a number, they see a subscriber number.
Yeah, which also then you get the companies that are smart and they're like, no, it's not about the sub count, it's about the views. And they don't understand that, hey, they'll point out one of my videos, like, this video only got X amount of views. Like, I can't pay you this much money. And I'm like, okay, look at the content. There's different kinds of content. This is a complete different video. It's out of left field from me. Mm-hmm. The other ones that are very consistent that I'm going to feature you in are consistent and they have the same amount of views.
Right.
You don't get it. So.
No, and that's the thing. Sometimes when these companies do that, like you said, they're not evaluating it the right way.
Yeah,
and it's a shame, but it is what it is. That's depending on what companies you're dealing with, and you get the companies that do their due diligence and look at the content. And, there's these bigger guys and, they tell them no. And all of a sudden you get this blind tweet about how company A sucks ass and, they're impossible to work with and blah, blah, blah. And in reality, when you find out, a lot of the times it's a company that did their due diligence and knows that you're bullshitting and they're not going to pay you the money that you want to be paid because they know that you're trying to cheat the system.
And that happens a lot.
Yeah. And, the funny thing is I've talked to companies that have, this is probably like a year or two ago that stopped working with YouTubers because, they would get all these views, but then the link they would supply to go buy the product or look at the product gets no clicks.
Yep.
And they're like, we paid this guy thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to promote our product. It got 2, 3, 4, 500,000 views, but it got like 200 clicks on the link.
Yeah. Nothing from the clicks.
No. And we sold like 50.
Yeah.
So we lost money. So, these companies would be like, no, we're not working with you. They're not working with you. And then of course, they're like, oh, they're jerks, blah, blah. And they're like, no, they're not jerks. They're not getting value in it. That's
common sense.
It is what, don't badmouth a company because they were either nice enough to not tell you that you're bullshitting, or it's just, hey, look, sorry, it's not working out. That's business. But, they're the first ones that jump down someone else's throat when something's wrong and they find something wrong and they don't realize that what they're doing isn't necessarily the best thing either. And I've talked to many companies that, have shared that information with me about certain creators that they work with and have shied them away from YouTube altogether.
Yeah.
Oh, it would have been great to work with you. It's like, oh no, we'll work on some stuff, but we're not getting a return and we're not paying anymore. We just don't find it worth it. We'd rather send it out to 100 smaller creators and not have to pay them any money and just a return on the product. And, and instead of working with one person and not get anything. But not that there isn't, YouTubers and content creators out there that don't bring in views and don't bring in clicks and don't bring in, the rate of return on what they're promoting. And they have good interaction with their audience and good return on Amazon clicks, going to the company's website to check out their product, and the company's making money hand over fist. And, so sometimes it does work. And those are the people that, and again, it's really tough to really keep that audience engaged because they get so bored so quickly.
Yeah. Well, I definitely know of a lot of smaller creators that can do way better than most larger channels. Like you said, very engaged with their audience. And that is the most important thing. If your audience feels like they're friends with you, they're going to obviously listen to what you say. They're going to click the links that like if I show a microphone off, I'm like, this microphone's the best. They're like, yeah, it is the best because this guy said it is. So that's why it is smart for companies, because a lot cheaper and they're going to get way more out of it. And at the end of the day, I think like Danny just said, it's all about, figuring out what that brand is, and then it spreads like wildfire and everyone's talking about it. And they're like, oh, I saw it in that guy's video. And they may not have purchased it right then and there from that link. Down the road when they need it, there you go. They'll think of it and sold.
Exactly. And it's funny that's how it started out for me when I was doing videos. I had a lot more time to really try out a product and really, give a full return on it. And now, I'm trying to get back to that where I try something for a while and then give my opinions on it. But, it is, as much as it pains me to say this, there are channels out there, and, a lot of them tend to be vloggers, that have products that they promote, their own products, their own merch. And as sad as it is, because they have the relationship what they have with their viewers, they just suck that stuff up and buy and buy and buy and buy. And there's guys that I like that, I've gone, oh, it got, Crispy. He used to do tech videos. I touch iPods. He does car videos now and professional car reviews and professional miniature movies on cars and events and stuff like that, you know, he sells out his merchandise the second he gets it in.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, okay, you know, and people support that. But again, he's a likable guy. He doesn't bullshit. He doesn't try to be something that he isn't. But again, you know, and yeah, and someone's, you know, hashtag be a maverick. I hate to say it, but that bastard's probably living off that stuff right now because
Well,
he ain't making anything else.
they already said that there was like 5 months of the Paul brothers merch making $10 million a month for 5 months at least, and that was confirmed.
See, I didn't hear that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was one of the bigger YouTubers that said that because they work with the same. I don't know how they found out, but they said 5 months they at least made $50 million. So you see Logan Paul buy a huge mansion, and people are like, "Oh, they cut his premium ads. What is he going to do?" It's like nothing. He's just going to keep doing what he's doing. That's why he'll keep tasing dead rats, and he'll do whatever he wants because YouTube doesn't matter. He's making him money off the merch and whatever, and. You know, like you were saying, Street Speed 717, that's another guy.
Yeah.
He says whatever and boom, sold. And that guy is making bank. He's giving Corvettes away. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's, you know, and that's, he's another one. I mean, he'll sit there boxes and boxes and boxes. And, you know, you just see people with more and more shirts. I see them all over.
Key tags and everything.
It, like you said, put it out there, it sells.
Yeah.
You know, and it's in my opinion, he's getting a little oversaturated a little bit. But these companies, and it was so funny because, you know, he doesn't do a whole lot of sponsorship unless he's not saying it. I don't know. But, you know, I think at this point, he is one of those that is making bank on YouTube.
Well, he shows it.
And his merchandise. Yeah, and his merchandise.
I can't believe it. Like his views, his CPM must be insane. He'll show it. He's got like $50,000 for the last 28 days. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well,
crazy.
Puts out a video at 600,000 subscribers and the video gets 300,000 to 400,000 views.
That's a great ratio.
First 2 weeks.
That's insane.
And then you go back and it's like 405. So he's getting almost 100% viewership based on subscriber count.
Yeah. But it's the same damn video over and over.
And all of us know, based on our statistics, that there is barely anyone is, you know, getting 50% viewership of their subscriber base.
Yeah, it's unheard of.
Of their subscriber base.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what a good one would be. I just know, talking from other guys that do get decent views, that they might get a good number is 20 to 30% of their subscriber base is watching the video. The rest is non-subscribers.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't know what that is and how that works out for someone like him. Maybe one day if I see him or whatever and have a conversation with him and just be like, I'm sure he'll tell me. Be like, look, dude, listen.
Yeah, let's go to a call out. Let's
I'll go out to a call out and interview him. You know,
there you go.
Podcast and be like, all right, look, dude, you show everybody else. Let's take a look at the rest of the stats. I'm dying to see how this shit.
Let's see the bank account. What are the transactions like? What are you doing here?
Dropping cash on a complete rebuild of a vehicle. You know, it was Larry. I think it was like a $80,000 Corvette, and the motherfucker just gets the whole thing rebuilt with like another $80,000 worth of shit put into the car,
and he's gonna get rid of it.
And then he turns around and goes, "Oh, I'm gonna sell it."
He's getting the ZR1, so it's like, what? But he can do that because that's business.
Hand over fist. You know, it's insane, man, and good for him though. And, I'm sorry, I certainly don't have a problem with it. You know, because I think at the end of the day, he's more honest than a lot of the people out there.
For sure.
He'll just come out and be like, look, this blows, or, you know, this is good, or,
yeah,
you know, I don't know. And will it ever go to his head? Who knows?
He seems pretty chill.
It couldn't. Yeah, he seems like a pretty chill guy.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's a conversation that we always go into, and we always try to ask everyone that, you know, that we talk to about it. It's just like, what are your thoughts on something like that? And what do you think about that? And, you know, and it's not a matter of being, it's not a matter of being jealous about it. I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
Oh, for sure.
By the attitude that you put into it and what you go through and what you get out of it and the interaction. And the interaction on some of these channels is so high. It's just amazing. But, you know, like you had mentioned earlier, and we've mentioned before, you know, you can't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
You know, something could happen to any one of those channels, any one of our channels, then tomorrow it's gone. You know, for me, I'd be like, oh well, all right, I'll start another one.
Yeah.
You know, at this point, it's who cares? But for someone like that, you know, and someone like Jake Paul or Logan Paul or, you know, yourself, you know, you go into that and you lose the channel. It's just like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
You know, where do I tell my people to go to find me? And you've got, you know, you build up your bases on other social platforms and whatnot, but there
It'll
are
never
a
be
lot
the
of
same.
what's that?
It'll never be the same. Like,
No.
you'll never mimic your YouTube stats on Twitter. You know, people don't always follow through, and that's frustrating, but it's true.
Oh, certainly. It certainly does. I see lots of guys that have tons of YouTube subscribers, and you go to their Twitter and they've got nothing. You know, and it's just like, what happened? It didn't transfer over, but you know, that goes to focusing on so much on one thing, you don't build up the other.
Yeah. Well, it's also, you know, I think for me personally, it's they like the setups. They don't have to like me. And that's why a lot of these other channels, not saying that they don't have a good personality and they're great people, but at the end of the day, they're going to subscribe because it's like, shit, every week I can see the best setup. Cool. Sign me up. But, you know, for me, I'm a little more opinionated. I put a lot of personality into everything, sometimes a little too much. And that's why a lot of people don't subscribe. And if they do subscribe, and they don't like me, it's just because they want to see the setup. So they're not going to follow through. And even I know tons of people that they're in my Discord server, they're on my Instagram page, and they just hate a certain platform. You know what I mean? They just don't want to sign up. And a lot of people keep their Twitter for themselves and their friends. And a lot of people keep their Facebook for just friends and they don't want to like a page or whatever. But I have a hard time growing my social media because I'm still kind of a, you know, kind of a beginner at that.
Exactly. So I don't know. But so you have your first episode of Pimp My Setup coming out on Sunday.
Yeah.
Do you have a set schedule for that?
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to do 12 o'clock Eastern time every Sunday and just kind of go from there. And I'm going to be live 11 a.m. So an hour before each episode goes up, I'll always be live on Twitch and YouTube. And then the idea is to, right at the end of the stream, everyone goes over, watches the video, and then unsubscribes because they realize it's not good. So,
yeah, that's not true. So are you going to do any live but try to keep it to a minimum?
I think if I was to ever do it live, I would probably have to be recording at the same time and then edit and post and, you know, kind of cut some crap out, because that was the problem. I could really talk a lot about each setup, even though it was always kind of the same, you know?
Right.
So.
Gotcha. All right, cool. All right. Well, we've talked enough to do this too much longer, but I want to thank you for coming out and chit chatting with us and, you know, talking a little bit about the show and giving your opinion on the YouTube stuff.
Yeah,
it's always interesting just to talk about it. And
I love having the conversation.
Yeah, I think we all do, because it's just it's insight. Something comes out new, and again, it's not trying to harp on anyone about doing anything, and it's just kind of like evaluating it and just getting together and discussing it. But
yeah,
so let everybody know where they can find you everywhere, and I'll be putting everything down in the links as well.
If you just go to mattphilly.com or swashin.tv, kind of, you know, branches off to all the different platforms, but Twitter at mattphilly, at swashin.tv, Instagram Fizzy. Trust me, I need to kind of clean that up, but at the same time, it is what it is. So yeah, just go to swashin.tv. That'll bring you everywhere you need to go.
Great. So. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. And of course, LD, where can everybody find you?
I'm clean everywhere. Geeky Nerd Dead.
See that, Matt? You need to work on that.
Yeah, I need to work on that.
You can find me at Tech Examined everywhere. I did something Matt hasn't done yet. I'm saying something because I haven't done anything else that Matt has actually done. So
cool.
It took me years of telling Mike to do it. So don't feel any pressure, Matt.
Exactly. You know, much like doing a setup, you know, thing of my desk, which I'm tearing apart again.
Why?
Doing it.
Why?
Because the wires got a little bit. It's a conversation for another day. I don't want to. It's all good. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. Join us every Friday night as we hold on. I accidentally hit stop on that. Hold on. Well, I went to move it and I accidentally hit stop. So okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining the podcast. You can catch us every Friday night live on YouTube's links in the description. So again, Matt, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and good luck with the revamp of the show.
Thank you.
It'll be interesting to see the new way. I'm sure people will like it. But
that sounds good.
I
like the shorter format. I love watching some stuff that I can just knock out real quick.
Yeah.
Definitely. I don't mind longer forms every once in a while, but it is nice to change it up.
Right, and I think even if you do the live by yourself, so you don't have to worry about the any of the guests and whatnot, I still think you should consider that and keep it a short format.
Yep.
Try to really knock it down and maybe do like a specialized live one.
Yeah.
Maybe of all just good setups, or to really kind of appeal to everyone, like the best of the best setups, or like a live one that evaluates all the best that you had, or something like that. I don't know. I'm sure you've got all those written down already. I'm not.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
I'm telling you things that you probably haven't already thought of. So. But again, thanks for joining us, and catch Matt. All his links are down below, and thanks for joining us, and catch you guys later.
Boom, mic drop.
Mic drop. Exactly. So. That was good. We actually got more people talking in here than we ever have. So thanks, Matt.
that was what, like 5 people?
Well,
it's usually just me and Mike.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Danny stops in and says hi because he feels bad for us. And
he just wants more sneaker advice from me.
Yeah, oh boy. So, but yeah. Question for Matt. Do they come out on every Sunday? Yes. Well,
that's the goal, hopefully.
Hopefully. So how many, and I guess I should have asked you this during the podcast, but are you going to be doing a specific number, or are you just going to do it based on God, or trying to jam them all in? And
I don't know. I still have to figure these things out, but as far as like setups per episode, doing 5. As far as episodes per season, probably until I find another reason to get all pissed off and start fresh again. So I mean, it's not like I have a set number,
200 to 300 again.
I'll probably be dead before then. So
Matt, I'd appreciate it if you didn't try to poach.
I'm just doing what I got to do here.
Getting them on the show just because he's a bigger YouTuber.
The 2 checks got to talk. That's what it is right there.
I guess Danny, he's a cool guy. You know what? He doesn't ask me and Larry to come on the show.
Hey.
Oh wait, we're not going to get you views. Never mind.
No, see, okay, here's the problem. This has been a problem with a lot of people already, is they want to be on, and I'm like, I'm good friends with them and stuff, but I'm trying to start with a bang, So I'm having beginner's tech on, and then he got sick.
I'm kidding.
No, I know you. I know you.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't have me on first. I wouldn't have.
Well, first off, you're the most hated, one of the most hated guests, so you have to keep that in mind.
If you're going to be recording it and it's going to be highly edited, and you say to me, you need to not be a dick, I will not be a dick just for
He's lying. He is lying.
No.
A dick cannot control being a dick. A dick is a dick.
No.
A dick cannot be a vagina. A dick is, well, I guess you technically you could.
Well, nowadays you can.
Yeah, nowadays you can, but a dick is a dick, and Mike is a dick. Big old eggplant.
I learned it from Larry. Fuck.
Yeah, well,
Larry can reel it in.
No, you can't. What are you talking about?
I can reel it in.
Did you listen to last week's episode? I had to edit that shit down.
Well, sometimes I'm drunk.
But maybe like 30 or 40 episodes. I could come in and join you, and once I see how good everyone is, and
well, I got to figure out how I'm doing things, because I'm sure I'll change from the first episode to the 5th episode how I do everything. But
so Matt will be live in about 7 episodes, because then he'll realize.
You never know. It could go that way, and it might not be the end of the world. But yeah, what I'm doing is what's different, and a lot of guests are already like kind of weirded out by it. But I'm just gonna have them send me like a 2 to 3 minute clip, and that's how I bring them into the show.
What
Sound weird?
Or the wait. The guest or
The guest.
the guest. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like I'll do my whole spiel in the beginning for like however long, and then what's going to happen is the guest is going to send like a 2 to 3 minute clip that's going to go towards the end, and that's how they, it's like a collab more than it is a co-host. You know what I mean?
I gotcha. Interesting.
So
cool.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
If you don't try it, you don't know, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it might work out.
And it's good because I'll work with, I have I know your favorite Snazzy Q is going to be on episode 2.
I like Snazzy Q.
Yeah, well, I know you guys always.
We got a lot of banter going on. He's a pain in my ass, but the kid knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, and then I have Barnacles in talks. He's going to be on probably episode 3.
Okay.
Yeah, he's one of the big reasons why I even grew on YouTube. So it'll be cool having him back on.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have Austin Evans on and
oh yeah, totally. Let me just give him a call real quick. It's not picking up. Yeah, no, I don't. I met Austin Evans, which was cool because Mac Mixing Dom, we shared a hotel room at VidCon in 2015, and
see that's when Dom was normal. Dom's superstar now.
Oh well, no, he had a good amount of subs and everything. And I was sitting in the room, and all of a sudden the door opens, and Lou and Austin Evans come in. I'm like, what the? I'm just like sitting here getting ready for the day. It was cool. Good time.
No, that's cool. No, I mean all those guys are very, very nice in person. It's and that's again, I would probably say 90% of the people on YouTube, when you're putting a video out, it's a certain way. But Larry knows this. When we get everybody together, it's just everyone's. I would say most of the people were super chill. Everyone was very, very nice to talk to. Very, somewhat outgoing. There were some people that were just quiet people, and there's nothing wrong with that. We
just like enjoy ripping on Mike the whole time.
Someone's got to take it, right? I mean, why not? It's all good. That was during my apology tour. Apology tour.
Yeah, that was fun.
Didn't you apologize like a million times?
Oh, I apologized to everybody a million times. It was awesome.
Like four guys. That's all it was.
The 4 main guys.
The 4 main guys.
The Mount Rushmore of tech YouTubers. Mike's just like, yeah, I pissed everybody off.
Yeah. At least they're still talking to me and replying to me on Twitter.
Of course.
So I must have done something right at the end of the day.
They probably feel bad.
No, everybody. I'm sure they do. They're like, look at the retarded kid. So,
somebody chip in and get Mike a helmet.
Yeah. Yay! Got my helmet! Yay! So
they've always been good to me. So
yeah, they're very, very good dudes. And again, it's funny because Larry and I have had this conversation before in the past, and we always have the conversation. That's why. But you mentioned something. I said something to Lou on Twitter. Congratulate him on 10 million. We'd love to have him on the podcast. And not even like 2 minutes later, he's like, "Hey, thanks, man. Would love to be on anytime." I'm like, "Wait, what? What? Was that him or Jack that put that on there? Was that really Lou?" And Larry, the same thing. We don't expect some guys to reply back, and they're just good dudes.
Yeah.
So you can sit there and I could say everything I wanted about them before I met them, and complained about how they were growing and I wasn't, and whatever theories that I had years and years ago, you meet the guys in person and you take something away from it, and they're just good people. So, and again, it's not everyone. I may not like your channel. It doesn't mean they don't like you as a person, or I don't like you as a person, but I like your channel. So
yeah, well, there's a lot of people that are one way on their channel, and then that's like whether it's them just turning it on, or maybe they're just different when they're in front of the camera, but you meet them in person, they're completely different. Sure. But yeah, I mean, my biggest complaint is the people that have like no personality. You watch their video and it's just like, oh my God, this is painful. And then you look at their sub count and you look at the views and you look at the comments and you're like, how, why are they so big on YouTube? And they're like, just listening to them makes you want to like jump off a bridge. But I don't know. Personality.
I get all the odd people, watching. Who knows?
When I see like 1 million plus subs on someone's channel that's like that, I'm just like, what am I seeing? What am I not seeing? There's something there. There's something there.
I don't know.
Usually a girl. That's what I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, gee, I wonder why. It's funny because like I'll go on there and someone will be like, "Oh, so and so," and I'll be like, "Who?" And I'll be like, 2 million subs. What the freak? It's just like, good Lord. And you start watching these people and you're like, where did they come from?
Well, that's what it's like when you go to a YouTube event. Like I went to VidCon, Vlogger Fair, Playlists, StreamCon. Like I went to all these different things and like girls are screaming and these people are running, trying to get away from security and all the kids and stuff. And I'm like, who the hell is that? And they're like, oh my God, it's blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I don't know who that is. And I don't care either. So
God, it's Mars Bar. Who? I had to throw that in there.
This guy.
I'm looking out, mate. I'm looking.
Okay. All right.
Push-ups. I do it real fast and you go back and do it in slow motion. It's like 7 and just real quick. I'm going for a jog for 5 minutes. Oh, I walked 20 miles. Yeah. No, you didn't. Anyway. All right. Enough of that. So, but all right. So Matt, thank you so much for coming on. Everybody in the room, thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions before we roll or anything like that? I know that some stuff has been coming in. Dave Saccone is a real friend of iJustine, a real fan of iJustine.
Love her. She's awesome. She's so short in person. She's literally she's like your height, Mike.
I know.
Man. That's like Kevin Hart.
Well, you know what the funny thing was? Well, I met her at Macworld in 2011, 2012, something like that.
Oh wow!
And I went with Carlos. It's me, Morpheus, and it was so funny because like he went up and he was like, "Oh hey, iJustine, I'm a big fan of yours," and she's like, "Oh," and he's like, "I'm Carlos." He goes, "I got a channel, It's Me Morpheus," and she goes, oh, "There was people that were looking for you." And she's like, "You're It's Me Morpheus," and blah, blah, blah. And they were, talking and chit-chatting, and it was just like, it was like, oh, that's cool. She seems like a really nice person, she's very, very nice. And, that's the only time I met her, but
yeah, she's nice.
Yeah, she's a good kid,
Good kid.
What? This is a kid.
Really though? I mean,
I don't know. She's what? Late,
like 30?
Early 30s? She's still a kid.
You're making yourself way older than you need to.
What do you mean?
Calling her a kid, and you're like, what are you, 50?
Yeah, 55.
Okay, nice.
55. I look good for 55, don't I?
Well, I mean,
keep telling yourself that.
It's debatable.
You look good for 55 if you died at 54.
I'm working on it. I'm working out. I don't skip leg day, so it's all good.
Leg day? That's the littlest part of your body.
I got some.
I've seen them little stumps running around.
Little stumps, but there's some thick stumps, buddy. It's called stumps. That means there's some girth to them. There's some girth. On that note, all right. Okay, this dude is okay. Fernando, let's get the gayness out of the room. Calm down, buddy.
Oh my God.
So anyway, all right. So everybody in the room, thank you so much. There's clearly a talk of trying to figure out how old iJustine is. Just don't care. So,
it's called Google.
Exactly. So
she is 33. There you go.
She's young. I'm only 34, so it's good.
She's hot as hell.
And she's hot. There's not. Hey, you can't knock that. So, all right. Thank you so much, Matt. Everyone in the room, thank you so much for joining us. 16 people. That's 16 more than we've had every week. Oh, I'm sorry. 14 more than we've had every week. So, till next week, thank you guys for joining us in the room. We'll see you next Friday. Be on a little bit earlier because we're just going to use Hangouts from now on. So, take it easy, everyone.